Okay.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Sí.
Two public comments.
Okay, we're live.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
The music. Jamming out.
Recording live.
Thank you, Missy. Good evening. Welcome to the Warsaw Town Council. We're now in session. Please stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All be seated. The first order of business is forming a new government for the next 2 years. The way this works is the good people of Warsaw elect the 8-body town council, and every 2 years, the town council appoints a mayor and vice mayor in the first meeting in January. That would be where we are today. So I'm acting right now as a pro tem, I guess, if you would. And I'm going to open up the floor for discussion for nominations for vice mayor and mayor.
Do we need to vote on those separately, or?
You should.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You should.
I nominate Randy Phelps as mayor.
And I second it.
All right. Is there any other names to be submitted for mayor? All right, we have a valid motion on the table. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you, everybody, very much. Next, we have the topic of filling the spot of vice mayor. I'd like to open the floor for nominations, and I would like to say that I think Paul has done an outstanding job in that role, and I hope someone very quickly will put his name in for nomination.
Well, I was gonna do that before you said anything, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. I would like to nominate Paul to fulfill that position again this year.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any other names? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations, sir.
My granddad, I look forward
Thank you.
to filling that role again in these 2 years.
Number 4 is appointment of council committee assignments and planning commission liaison. I made an error on a couple things. We'll have that out in print next session. But the general piece of it is, Daphne, I have you joining our finance committee. Joining our Warsaw Planning Commission Committee Liaison. And Bobby, you're going to be on our Utilities Committee and on our Economic Development Committee. There is a couple other shuffles of names in our Ordinance Committee, Bobby, as well. There are a couple other shuffle of names, so we'll have this list in your packet next meeting, okay? All right, we have the consent agenda for in your packet. I know we have maybe one edit to offer.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add down after new business and before council members, a closed session that will deal with real estate.
All right. Council, we have a edit to the agenda adding a closed session under new business for real estate. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as edited?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. And right off the bat, we are super excited to welcome our friends from Rappahannock Community College. Dr. Kennedy is with us, and we have been waiting so excitingly to hear some good news about this project. So please come on up, and we can't wait to hear.
Thank you so much. Always happy to be here and always excited to give updates on this project. I also want to thank Rich Golden, who is the representative on our board, on our advisory board from Richmond County, and also the chair of our board this year.
Welcome, Rich.
Chief, you're going to advance for me?
I can.
Okay, great. So he's just, this chair is
There you
going
go.
backwards.
Jury's out with
Chief, you're gonna be the clicker.
And I'm so, excited to see you continued with your mayor and your vice mayor, because otherwise your name placards would have been all messed up. So the first slide, I will show you the health sciences building is, we are working on the construction documents. It has evolved. If you'll recall, when we had our first preliminary review, which we were required to do as part of our grant submission to the Economic Development Administration, we were about 9,000 square feet. We are now 9,900, almost 10,000 square feet facility. We did have to make the 2 lots that the foundation owned as 1 lot, so we appreciate the town working with us to get that done because it spills over into the 2nd lot. If you recall, so what you're looking at is the bottom is the front, will be the 360 facing side. Nope, that's the wrong way. The other way. The top is the 360, and then by adding on the back, the mechanical room and the mechanical yard goes into the other lot. So that'll kind of orient you. I'll just go over what some of these areas are really quickly, and then we'll look at the prettier pictures so you can kind of see it. The orange at the top is our nursing skills lab. So that has, you can kind of see it's got like places for nursing beds and the mannequins that we use, and then some classroom area as well. We'll have lab storage. I think I mentioned this the last time. I'm really excited. One of our nursing faculty said we should all share storage because that's how it's done at the hospital. So trying to, mimic that. The meeting room, it looks like a conference room that's in blue at the top, is actually the nursing students, and there's room for 10. They debrief with their faculty members after exercises. So that is a room where they can work and they can debrief. And then they can also collaborate. We do a lot of space now for student collaboration. And nursing particularly works really well in groups. And I'm going to have to look because, boy, I can't see that far. Not that I can see this either. Because that's changed since this brochure was October, and so that has changed. What's that say in the blue on the, Chief, right underneath the meeting room?
NTG. The blue NTG.
Yes, so that's another meeting space.
Yeah.
Right, another meeting space. Thank you, yeah, because I did.
And then data, yeah.
Yeah, and data, of course, is just our IT room for the building. The orange below that is our DMS lab and classroom space. DMS is Diagnostic Medical Sonography. We offer the certification in echocardiogram. So our students, we had our first graduates in December. So we had our first class of graduates. So we had 7 graduates, all getting job offers. One of them, who was actually a student that went to Virginia Tech, got an exercise science degree, and came back, was only able to, did personal training and that kind of thing. And she came back, I'll just tell the story. You don't have to worry about that. And she got offered a job at VCU Health and a $25,000 signing bonus. So they're desperately needing those. Our folks in Tappahannock were concerned, VCU TAP is the one that came to us with this, that we didn't have a lab up this way. We have 1 lab in New Kent, with the intent that we were building here. And they were just concerned that our students were from Richmond. They are not. We have students from King George, Colonial Beach, Warsaw, Tappahannock, Hague, I think. I mean, it is really meeting the needs of the Northern Neck and Middle Peninsula. We have 1 from the city of Richmond, and the rest are in our service region. So they're driving to New Kent for lab. They're doing their clinicals at hospitals closer. We have 2 graduates that are offered jobs at the University of Mary Washington Hospital, for example. But we are going to be working in the fall, so for hopefully a year, we'll be renting a lab space at VCU TAP, so we will have a lab here. And we're very fortunate that we get continued funding. We had seed funding from the General Assembly that has continued. So this is our most expensive program that we offer. But again, the return, students that are making over $70,000 as soon as they graduate and getting ridiculous signing bonuses is a pretty great thing. We are going to have to pay our faculty more if we want to keep them, though. Below that, you'll see the lobby. This is the main entrance of the building. It is on the side of the building. The Chin House will be located to your right. Then we have two more, they say meeting, but they're really student collaboration spaces. Then next to that in the orange is the EMS simulation lab, and that will be designed kind of like a living room. There's a control room so faculty can maneuver, and that what backs up to that is a pad, a driveway for an ambulance, and we have a simulated ambulance so they can actually practice driving up like they are to a house and getting in and working the call, and that's something we don't have now. Again, the gray stuff is all of the mechanical and that kind of thing. In the middle is nursing simulation labs. So they will have hospital beds and mannequins, and then the faculty can then not be in the same room, so they're independent. Right now, our lab they're doing the stuff right there, and the faculty are right there, and this makes for a more realistic scenario, and the faculty can manipulate the exercise from that. We do, on the left is the 4 blue areas. Those are 4 office spaces for some of our health sciences faculty. On that back end of the building, where I said the EMS pad will go, that will connect, that we will add on parking, and it will connect to the parking that we currently have behind the Chin House. So even though it's not technically on our campus, we'll be able to connect that. So nobody but us is going to know the difference. But by doing this and building it, I've mentioned this before, on our foundation land, is we are not having to go through the state processes, and we are saving a solid year because we are working on projects and they go to Department of Engineering building, and they don't have a timeline of when they have to get it back to you. So things will be there for 90 days, that kind of thing. So that is the inside of the building as it stands right now. And again, we're in the construction document phase. Okay, next one. All right, so this is the part on the right that you see, the seagull. That is the facing 360. So that is the 360 side, because we wanted those students to enter from the back parking lot so that we can put this as not super close to the road. Of course, there are rules, but they want to not put it so it sticks out a little further from everything else. They're trying to make sure that it works with the rest of the town, but that you'll see the building, not a bunch of cars. So you'll get to see something that looks better. And then you'll see that where the roof tilts up is the entrance. And then so we can go to the next one because we get a little closer. And then there's a little area for students with that lattice work. Okay, and the next one. There's the main entrance. And you can see it. Can you go back? I'm sorry.
Jumping ahead.
You can see on the left how they have the ambulance backed up. That's where that would be. Okay, next. Closer of the main entrance. Okay. All right, and so this is just some renderings of the inside of the building. We're going to see closer up on the wall on the right where you see the video, the monitor where it has internal signage, digital signage. If you could go to the next. They have designed that wall, if you can see that, that's Rivers, like as a ode to our area. So that'll be really nice to have something that's on the wall. So they've got some internal nice features that'll make it look appropriate for our area. Okay, next one. That's the student lobby space. We said we don't need much of a lobby. There's we have those collaboration rooms, so we didn't want to spend too much time on that, but we will have a place where I think we'll need to put some vending machines. Okay, next. And that's the look of the building. And now here is tough to read, but, and this is just latest as of January 2nd. So our original project budget was $6.3 million. That was what was estimated. We had to actually pay to have that estimated out very precisely for the EDA grant. Again, the EDA grant was $5,088,000. We were required to match that by 20%, which is just over $1.2 million, and we have done that. We have estimated that we will need at least $7 million because we expected it would have probably run higher than the estimate, and now that we've added square footage, we want to ensure that we have enough funds. So we are looking at a almost $7.1 million budget. If it turns out we have extra funds, those will go in an endowment to help maintain the building. So the again, so if you look on the right, and it's a little hard to read, but I can tell you a little bit about these. So the big grant, of course, we had about $200,000 from a 2008 capital campaign that was designated for health sciences, which was wonderful because that was our money we used to pay for the preliminary engineering review, and we were able to get all of that done. We got $100,000 from the Mary Morton Parsons Foundation. It was a challenge grant, which we've already met. Mary Morton Parsons is out of city of Richmond, so we were able to get some money from out of town. Of course, Richmond County has now contributed 50. You've contributed the 25, and of course, the connection, which is more valuable than that as far as the savings for us. So we are very grateful for that. We got $150,000 from the Claude Moore Foundation. That is a foundation we work with primarily for programming. They have given us funds to work with our high school partners to increase access to health care programs through dual enrollment. So they typically do not do bricks and mortar, but they were able to, I think the words were squirrel away. One of the director of the Claude Moore Foundation is Dr. Bill Hazel, and he used to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. And while he's from Northern Virginia and lives in Northern Virginia, he does have a house in Westmoreland County, and his right hand, Shirley Bezdar, has permanently moved to Colonial Beach and is now on our foundation board. So we've got a little special place in their heart, and they gave us $50,000 towards the building. The Verlander Foundation out of Lancaster County, which is really designed to support Lancaster County. However, they support Lancaster County students and some of our students taking short-term credentials, has agreed to give us $500,000, and we've already received $250,000 of that. So that was a significant gift. And there we go. We also got $200,000. This is a matching grant where we've just started to work towards the match. We just received this maybe in November. It's up from the Cabell Foundation, that's also out of the city of Richmond, and they gave us $200,000. So we've never received funds from Mary Morton Parsons or Cabell before, so that was great. And then $211,000 in individual gifts. I don't think I got to tell you all the story, but once we got the project, approved, so we sent out a press release. This is where it is. This is kind of the update, and it was in the Rappahannock record. And a couple out of Irvington who wish to remain anonymous contacted us. They've never contributed. We did not know who they were. Contacted Sarah Pope, who's our vice president of college advancement, and said, we read about this project in the paper and we would like to contribute. And she called back and they gave us $100,000 from reading it in the paper. Not a pledge, a gift, sent us $100,000 check. And we've had some individual donors as well, and $75,000 from a couple whose names are escaping me. It's maybe Dr. Lewis, and I'll make sure you get that information. But they gave us $75,000 to name the EMS suite. So we've got naming opportunities. This is, and I'm leaving these for you. You're welcome to take because this is still October, so it's out of date a little bit, but it does give some more information. And I brought this because we got these in today, and it's the spring and summer program course offering. So just if you're interested to see what we've got going on, but you can see we're only just over $500,000 left to raise. So there is no delay in this project. Because EDA is a reimbursable grant. We've got a line of credit, essentially, with Wells Fargo, so that when we have to pay the bills, then we can go back to EDA and draw down. And the foundation does have the funds. We were able to guarantee that we could cover the costs. So we are looking at bid openings in May, and construction, I think the May 15th to June 15th. So construction awarding at the end of June of this year. And so we will be hoping to be breaking ground, which you will all be invited to participate in, sometime in July. And before construction begins, the substantial completion date is August 1st, 2026. So it's tight. They had it a little earlier, but because of EDA, we have some things we have to submit to them for approval in the process, which of course will take a little bit of time, but not like you're good. So we're hoping it'll be open, and we'll be in there in August 2026, but we'll be getting in there as soon as we possibly can. So it is a absolute definite, it is happening. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Dr. Key, thank you. My first response is just, wow, this is fantastic news. Can you remind the council, how many students a year are you estimating this facility might be able to serve once staffed up?
So we have 20 students accepted into our DMS program. That's the max we can take. And at least half of those will come through at this lab. We have 230 nursing students. They go to all of our sites. So those students will be going through that area. And then EMS will be smaller amounts, so I don't know how many, depending on how many we have. I will tell you that we have recently streamlined our paramedic program, so it takes a semester less to complete. By focusing on the core competencies they need to pass the licensure, they looked at all the courses, and so we will be graduating more paramedics, and that's certainly an area they will use. And we'll use this as well for some of our CNA classes and our patient care technician classes. Patient care technician, we call it PCT, and VCU TAP is a good example. They use a PCT as part of the care team. They've kind of reworked how they do things in the hospital because of nursing shortages, how they create teams. And a PCT is a 10-week course, and students graduate with a CNA, certified nurse aide, and a CCMA, which is a certified clinical medical assistant certification. So they get 2 at that one time. So all of those will be running through here at some time, but we haven't really gotten through how the programming of that will work.
Okay, thank you. One more question. On the people side, on the other side of the equation, what is your guess as far as faculty? Do you think you might need 5 more people, maybe 10 more FTEs?
So we will be adding another DMS faculty member because we'll need somebody, and we'll have to do that soon because if we're going to start up at this end to work the lab, and they're not there every single day in the lab because they are doing clinicals at the hospitals. So we will be adding one there. We'll see how much more we can accommodate for nursing, but right now we've really staffed up. We have 9 full-time nursing faculty. We have 32 full-time faculty total, and 9 are nursing.
Okay.
So, and I would like to explain that. We it looks like if you look at the whole Virginia Community College system, we are by far not the smallest college. There's about 8 smaller than us out of the 23, and we have the lowest number of full-time faculty, and that's because we have the highest percentage of dual enrollment of any of the 23 community colleges. And the dual enrollment faculty have to be qualified the same as our faculty, but they are actually the high school faculty. So they're a high school employee. So they don't show up like ours, but it's like we have more faculty, but it based in numbers, because if that sounds small, it is.
Council, is there any questions for Dr. Kennedy? Thank you so much. Rich,
Thank
so
you.
very much.
So hopefully the next time you hear from me, Joseph will be passing on the invitation to a groundbreaking.
Outstanding.
Not that I want to do one in July, but we're going to do one whenever we have to do one. So I appreciate your support so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. We're going to open our public comment section. I know we have 2 letters that have been submitted for the official record. Joseph, you have those?
I do. All right, the first is from Betsy Norris, 142 Woodland Heights Road, Warsaw, Virginia. She stated that the statement is in regard to the Roads Place project. I would like to start by stating I do understand the need for housing. Growth is inevitable and can be good for some communities. I had sent a letter for the joint hearing that was read at the December 12th meeting. I've enclosed a copy for your reference. My concerns are as follows. Number 1, the partial destruction of the Enchanted Forest with the 50-foot egress to Wallace Street. Number 2, the increase of vehicle traffic from Route 360 onto Wallace Street and Court Circle Street. Number 3, the increase of responses from our volunteer fire department for these accidents. Number 4, a potential increase in our water sewer bills. Number 5, the potential decrease of my property value if I wish to sell. No one wants to be backed up to apartments. Will you trade homes with me? If Mr. Packett wants to develop Please reconsider the Rhodes Place project and let him build on the Broadest Creek project. If on a smaller scale that all the villas, condos sell and the apartments rented, then he could build more. He should start out low in the number of units to be built. I have worked in Westmoreland County and have seen the start of a project and then the demise of it, which left a partially development area unsightly. I also believe Mr. Packett's percentage of calls to the Midtown apartments is low. I am told by many the police are called there frequently. There is property for sale near Food Lion. Let him purchase this and build his apartments. Most all of my neighbors on Woodland Heights Road have expressed to me their concerns and the fact that he would butt up to us with apartments. That's the first one. The second one is from Mark Milstead, 159 College Avenue. I am optimistic that the proposed development by Gregory Packett will be an asset to the town and all of its citizens. I do have some questions and concerns that I hope the Planning Commission Town Council will give some thought to. Number one, at the last meeting, there was some discussion of voting and approving this development. Then, while I appreciate the enthusiasm, having a conversation with a few public officials as to the impact of the development of the community is not due diligence. We currently need more information to make an informed decision that is the best interest of our community. A professional impact study performed by an independent third party hired by the town and paid 100% for by the developer could provide needed information to make an informed and educated decision for the town and its citizens that you all represent. Number two, what is the current usage or percentage of the town's water and sewage facilities? Correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere around 65% usage. DEQ will want a plan on future expansion of water treatment facilities once consumption gets around 85%. The current facility's cost to build, I believe, was about $12 to $14 million years ago, and it took the council about 5 years to come up with a solution that included millions from state and federal money, with the town matching a percentage of it. I would think an impact study would tell what current consumption is and how much the development would consume. The cost is more than just discounted connection fees. There's a whole underground infrastructure that needs to be maintained, replaced as needed, and updated. The water and sewage any community provides is a valuable asset. Please make sure the long-term costs of the development are taken into consideration. Let's be honest, it is unlikely you would have any interest in the town from a developer if it was not for public utilities. Number three, what is the impact on traffic, schools, social services, emergency services, and law enforcement? This requires more than a casual conversation with local officials. What are the long-term costs on the community after the developer has built his last house or apartment and left the development for the town and county to maintain? Number four, what is the current ratio of houses to apartments in the town, and what will this development do to this percentage? What has been the economic and public needs impact on other communities that have had similar development and growth? I keep hearing there's a need for apartments in the area. That may or may not be true, but it is not the town of Warsaw or its citizens' responsibility to solely resolve any issue that may exist or may not exist. Number five, please allow the Planning Commission to do their due diligence on examining the development and come up with a recommendation prior to the council making any motions to vote on approval. Extend them the courtesy of doing the job they all volunteered to do. I appreciate your consideration. As always, thank you for the work that you do.
All right. Julie, you have those for the official record?
I'll give them to you.
All right. Is there anyone here in the public that would like to speak tonight? All right. Our public comment section is closed, and we'll move on to our report section. As usual, I like to defer my comments as we go through the meeting, but an official welcome to Daphne Palmore and Bobby Walters. Thank you. Your official first meeting, and we had a really good time talking with him yesterday. Joseph Missy and I met with Bobby and Daphne, and we just brought them up to speed on where we are in projects and things and so forth. And they came back today, so that's a good sign. Guys, thank you. Appreciate your service.
Thank you all.
That said, I will move on and let Mr. Questenberry present his report.
All right, thank you all. Please find my town manager's report. It's in the first tab under report section. Number one, I have the item Christmastown. We're pleased to report that Christmastown 2024 was a huge success. We estimated about 12,000 attendees this year throughout the day, particularly near the parade time. Parking and pedestrian access ran much smoother this year, and we continue to learn lessons as we go forward. Sorry about that. I want to thank our entire staff working 14 to 16 hours that day in various capacities, all the various agencies and organizations that assisted us with safety and traffic control, especially our PD, thank you, and to our residents for their patience and for coming out to support the event. A huge thank you goes out to our many sponsors that made this financially possible. Item number two, economic development. Town staff members have been working diligently with several mixed-use developers that plan to submit proposals to the town within 2025. At this time, we have been contacted by or held meetings with 5 residential commercial developers across different parcels in town and 2 strictly commercial developers. We'll keep you posted as these progress. Regarding our economic development strategy for 2025, town staff members are dedicating additional time and resources towards pursuing a hotel establishment. The lack of moderately priced overnight accommodations leaves us at a disadvantage, both directly due to the lack of transient occupancy tax revenues, but also indirectly with being unable to support large-scale events, regional meetings, etc. We will continue to pursue options and opportunities, and will bring them to you in the near future. Number 3, budget preparation. We're happy to report that we are at the beginning stages of our annual budget preparation process. All department heads have submitted their capital improvement plan requests, and I'll be working to update the budget accordingly, and will present it to the Planning Commission and Council for their review. With our downtown revitalization phase now nearing completion, we plan to focus on infrastructure and facilities such as wastewater treatment, remote water meter reading systems, etc. We reach out in the coming weeks to schedule budget work sessions. Number 4, weather event. Town police and public works employees successfully ensured the town functioned properly during the recent snow and below freezing temperatures. Town police did an excellent job of traveling through the neighborhoods, assisting disabled vehicles, and keeping the public informed of any issues along side streets. We also want to thank VDOT and Northern Echo Electric crews for their prompt attention and diligence throughout town and the community at large. Number 5, again, the new council member onboarding. Just to reiterate, the mayor, assistant town manager, and I met with the council members Palmore and Walters to introduce them to the town council, provided copies of the adopted budget, Virginia FOIA documents, Virginia Municipal League information, and the council code of conduct. We also discussed upcoming plans and projects to ensure a smooth transition to the council. We look forward to working with them for the betterment of our beautiful town. And lastly, mandatory FOIA training. Per Virginia State Code, all council members elected during this cycle will have to attend FOIA training. The town's supposed to be FOIA officer, Ms. Blackley Rice, will be reaching out to you regarding dates and times for this to occur. So that is a new thing. All 4 of the new folks, or recently elected folks, have to do FOIA training. That's all I have for my report.
Council, any questions for our manager? 12,000 people.
Yeah, throughout the day, roughly.
That's got to be the biggest crowd so far, right? Don't you think?
Yes, and the parade was awesome. Firsthand, I think we saw the crowds were really big.
All right. Chief Peterson.
Thank you. My report is in your packets. If there's any questions, I can answer those at the end. I just want to echo Christmastown from the PD point of view. I think it went very well. If I could just recognize the agencies that actually did assist us for this, was Richmond County Sheriff's Office, New Kent Sheriff's Office, Colonial Beach Police Department, Tappahannock Police Department, and the Virginia State Police. Without them, it wouldn't have been as successful as it was. Of course, everybody saw New Kent's e-bikes out there, which was a big hit with most everybody. So we're proud to report 0 incidents, and just all in all, I think it was an excellent event. Other than that, if any of your questions, I have nothing more to report. We're ready for 2025 as I go into my 2nd year here, and looking forward to it.
All right. Chief, how's your troops?
Good.
Y'all need anything?
That's the question. Yeah. Well, since you're asking, sir, no, we're good, sir. Everything we need, we've asked for, and I think we're to a point where we need to be.
I will tell you, I really enjoyed in Christmastown seeing the different agencies helping us out. I was a little surprised when I looked up. Was it New Kent on the bicycles?
Yes, sir.
I'm like, what is that? Joseph, get the chief over here. I got to know what's going on. I just thought it was really cool to see the state police and Richmond County and all the help we received. I thought it was great. Well done. Good job. Any questions for the chief? All right. Moving on, Public Works Report. Jesse.
Good evening. We'll start with the wastewater treatment plant. Average daily influent flow for December was 167,700 gallons, a decrease of 5,900. Maximum influent flow for December was 229,500, increase of 35,300. The average effluent total nitrogen was 1.82 milligrams per liter. The average effluent total phosphorus was 0.07 milligrams per liter. On the 18th of December, the treatment plant experienced a sand filter malfunction. This is currently an ongoing issue, but we have working with our engineer and service technician to resolve this problem. We completed and submitted our monthly operations report. Plant effluent samples taken and tested for the month of December met all requirements as to our permit discharge limits. Moving on to the water department. Attached, you will find your water loss report. For December, we are at a 3% water loss. Staff also completed state-selected bacteria samples. All results came back absent. We installed 2 water meters on East Jefferson, one for a new construction house. The other would be just for the empty lot for future construction. Refuse department, for the month of November, town staff made 14 trips to the landfill, totaling 117.57 tons, or 235,140 pounds. Public Works Maintenance, staff assisted with Monday and Thursday residential trash. They also assisted with recording of monthly water meter readings, and took care of the bathrooms and grounds at the town park. Christmas Town and Parade, so all Public Works assisted with preparing and working the entirety of the event. We were also able to clean up the trash truck and put a few lights on it for the parade, but
The pretty truck.
it was pretty, so.
So has anyone called or contacted you or the town about, do we have to boil our water?
No.
Very good.
No,
Any
we
questions
not.
for Jesse? Great job, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council committee reports, I don't believe, the Economic Development Committee met this today, but I don't believe anyone else has. Jonathan, would you like to brief council on what y'all talked about?
Do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait for new business, whatever you like?
Let's do it now.
All right, let's do it now. Economic Development Committee did meet and discussed EIG application, Economic Incentive Grant application from Ms. Jane Douglas, business owner of the Beauty Bungalow. The Economic Development Committee made a recommendation of $5,000 out of $7,200 for the grant. We did ask Joseph what we had left in the budget for this fiscal year, and we still have about $20,000 left in the kettle for that.
Okay.
So the recommendation from Economic Development Committee is $5,000 for the Beauty Bungalow.
Council, the application documentation's in the packet. The Economic Development Committee has recommended a $5,000 grant to be given to this particular endeavor. Is there any discussion? Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the $5,000 grant to Beauty Bungalow?
I'll make that motion.
We have a second? Second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
Thank y'all.
Planning Commission, Mary Beth? Okay. Well, as I understand it, the Planning Commission did not meet tonight, this month. Correct. Right? Okay. We'll come back to that. Northern Neck Regional Jail Report, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Got quite a few things to mention today. First of all, you got in your packet the breakdown of prisoners and where they're from, I think, yesterday. And you notice that they put the pie chart in there, but when they got 18 slices of pie in one chart, the colors sort of run together there, but the numbers are there also. The meeting opened up with, the jail has an employee of the quarter every 3 months. And then from that, they picked the employee of the year. And yesterday, we had the employee of the quarter. It just so happened that he's a son of a council member here. Justin Self was the employee of the quarter. They are selected by the employees there, not by their officers and the people they work with. So it's quite an honor, and I congratulate him. And
Nice.
he comes from good stock, so
Ralph, you know who
I'm
that is?
not surprised.
I do. I'm very proud of him.
Congratulations.
He told us the news yesterday evening, and I'm very proud of him and his accomplishments, and he thoroughly loves his job, and I just I guess he was so fortunate, he just was at the right place and the right time to be able to get this position. So,
That's great news.
very good.
I wasn't surprised he got it, because I keep hearing good things about what he's doing there, so it's great. Some of the things we did yesterday, Major Luna discussed, we get audits all the time there, I mean, from everything and everybody, and people think we don't have these standards that have to be kept, but we do. And they're going to start going over some of these. And the first one we had, Major Luna did, was the Department of Corrections, and told us about they get audited every 3 years. And that audit includes 148 standards that have to be met. And we got 100% on that this past time, and we went through the last 3 or 4 years, and the minor ones that were actually corrected before they left. In between those years, they have what's called inspections, DOC inspections. In that case, there's only 43 standards, major standards that they have to meet. And once again, we've done very, very well in that. But I thought I'd bring that to you. I mean, he brought us the last, I think, 4, going back almost 20 years, I think, on what he had there. So that was interesting to see, too. The superintendent gave a talk about the goals and the accomplishments that the jail met in 2024. These are things that they did communities involved, employees and staff, community involved in. There was a long list of things they do within the counties that are part of the jail there. You've probably seen some of those in the newspaper, reading to kids at the schools. They were in the parade this year. It was just a variety of things that they did. They did some fundraisers. They did a raffle for leukemia, I think it was.
MS Foundation.
MS Foundation, that's right. So, the list went on and on. So, we're really proud of them. And these are ideas that they came up with and asked the superintendent if they could do it. And she said, sure. You don't want to turn that down. And finally, and I've been following it for quite a while now. If you go on Facebook and follow the regional jail, Monarch Regional Jail, you can keep up with what's going on there. They put all their stuff in there, and they actually let you know when the coffee, Ugly Mugs or whatever coffee comes, or whatever food trucks comes there, and you're welcome to come up whenever they're there. And usually they have something about every other week, or at least once a month at the very least. But you can keep up with it. You see some of the things that are going on inside there. So if you're really interested in it, I'd suggest you just follow them and you'll get it.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any questions for our Vice Mayor? All right. Moving along, the American Rescue Plan Act. What's our update, Mr. Questenberry?
Yep. Again, the remaining balance is $56,467.94 out of a total allocation of $1,541,750. And right now, we've just sort of got those plugged into the community market matching funds.
All right. Winding down. Any questions for Joseph on that? All right. Moving to old business, the number one item down there is the Rhodes Place and Broadus Creek development. Mr. Packett is with us tonight. Welcome, sir. So, just kind of set the table. We had this come before us last meeting. We had a presentation from Mr. Packett. We got an overview of what the project is, kind of the size. We had a couple of folks here from the county. Hope Mother's Head of Belief is here and had some comments about it. So council's at the point now where we need to either continue to discuss, continue to do due diligence, and or approve the preliminary approval of the development. What I'm going to suggest, and I'll leave it for the will of council, if someone wants to have some discussion tonight, we can. I think the discussion is going to be longer than what we want to spend here tonight. So I'm going to offer a work session that would be dedicated to the project. It would be a joint work session. We would invite the Planning Commission members, and we could dive into the comments, the data, and go from there. If it's the will of council that that's not necessary and someone wants to offer a preliminary approval motion, you can do that. And we'll see where it goes for as a vote. But I'm a big supporter of doing the work session. We could get that on the calendar next week or two. We could have a closed session if we think we have reason to believe, reason to have it legally. We can invite Mr. Packett back if we want to have him in the room to ask him questions. Really, we can do it however we like. So I'm going to put that out there and kind of see what is the temperature of council? What do y'all want to do? Do you want to have a work session? I'm thinking, what date were we looking at, Joseph?
January 21st, that's a Tuesday at 6 p.m.
So we would meet.
I'm confused.
Yep.
I'm always confused. I thought we sent it back to planning commission. I mean, where's planning commission's
Oh, we're meeting
role?
today
They
with
didn't
planning
meet.
commission.
They didn't meet this month, and what we want to do is have a joint work session with them. They have some questions as well.
Okay.
They will still have to formulate a recommendation, yes or no table.
Yeah.
And then council will either accept their recommendation or not.
Okay.
So it'd be,
I think for the reason, Rebecca, of efficiency and not having two
Drag
different.
it.
I think a lot of the same questions and concerns the planning commission has, council has, and instead of hearing two versions of the same data, if we could all get in that room and hear it, we would be from the same perspective.
Explain to me a little bit more about what the work session would do. I mean, we had a long talk last month.
Well, I think there are still concerns from the members of council. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. And want to ask more questions and see if there are more data points to look at. If council's ready to do the preliminary, we can do that right now. That doesn't require anything from the planning commission. It doesn't require anything else. A preliminary approval just simply gives the developer an idea of where our head is, right? That we are ready to see more. That makes him feel a little bit better about spending more money to do more in-depth planning and infrastructure details to come back for a final approval. That next step is really the live or die of the development.
and for the work session, we plan to have the attorney present.
Well, that's answered something.
Yeah.
So that's a difference that we have not been
Yeah.
privy to before, correct?
Yeah, we, with it being such a large project, we want to ensure we're doing things the right way. And so we're getting Sands Anderson, our representative there, to be in with us.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the idea of dedicating a period of time for that. I would, as the work session is still open to the public, I like to keep transparent, let them be in here. They wouldn't be asking questions or making statements or anything, but they have the right to hear.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any legal right to do closed session. I was just setting the
Yeah,
table.
but I mean, if we have a session like that, I think we usually get more done and quicker when we do something like that, on big projects like that. In the past, I know we have. So I'm all for that.
I'm going to second the work session.
Bob, what's your thoughts?
I'm a little bit torn on it. Seems like I've, looked over the information from last time when Mr. Packett put it out there for us. I think there probably are some questions that need to be answered from some other perspectives. But, I'd like to see this project go forward because we really do need the housing.
Okay.
And it would help the town, so.
Daphne, what's your thoughts?
I think a work session is a good idea, to be able to dedicate some time to just discussion on the project.
You feel it's a good idea to do the same with the planning commission, for us all to be in the same room?
Yes.
Ralph?
I agree with Bobby. I think there's certainly a need for housing, and I know, people don't want new houses in their backyard, but maybe when they built their houses, people didn't want them there either, but we've got to have places for people to build and people to live, and, everything I've seen Mr. Packett build so far, even the apartments, I think have been fairly well built, and, I think we certainly need to grow as a town, and, you know, that, I don't know that we'll ever get as big as the city of Richmond, but, you know, we're growing, and it's growing everywhere, and it's growing all around us, and if we don't jump on board and be a part of this, people are wanting to see some of the chain businesses and stores and things come here, but they're not gonna come if they don't have people, so I certainly think we need to move forward with this, but again, a work session, you know, a few more weeks or maybe another month or two, hopefully we can get things ironed out and come to a consensus that we need to do something to move forward.
All right. Jonathan?
I don't disagree with a work session. I think we need one. I don't know what exactly we're gonna accomplish, what answers to what questions we're gonna be able to answer that haven't been answered already, or we'll be able to get answers quickly enough as we like. I think a lot of that, I think Gregory has to do anyway with, I'm sure VDOT's gonna require him to do a transportation study and everything, so everything we're gonna request, he's gotta do anyway. But it seems like consensus, we need to do a work session. I agree. I just wish, I'm with Rebecca. I thought going into this month, we were gonna be joint with the planning commission and vote on something. I wish maybe it's Christmas season. I guess we probably would have been hard to meet anyway, but, I agree with the work session, but let's do it as quickly as possible.
You know, my thinking is this. I think a work session is smart. Jonathan, I really like what you said, because I agree with probably 99% what you said. I think a lot of the regular due diligence items that's going to be required of the development of Gregory from VDOT and DEQ and all these other things, I think I'm satisfied. I know that whether we make him spend whatever the number is, you know, it's going to come back and say, yes, traffic's going to get worse. Yes, your sewer plant's going to have to be expanded at some point. Yes, your schools are going to have more kids. All those things, we know what it's going to be. So I think a work session's good. Everyone gets a chance to talk about what's bothering them. It'll be open to the public, as Paul mentioned. But I would vote yes tonight if someone put a motion for the preliminary approval. So I'm thinking that we looked at the calendars, and we'll see what it looks like for all you. But January 21st at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound like it works for most of you?
January 21st.
And if it doesn't, if you don't know for sure, you can get back with Joseph and we can work that out.
And I'll have a brief presentation, and as I said at the last meeting, the county department heads information and things that we've collected, and I'll present and then have the attorney here, and I'll reach out to Gregory too.
If possible, could we get a map that I can actually see wherever I can?
Yeah, we can do that. Gregory, do you mind providing? Okay, maybe, do you mind 2 copies? Okay. Yeah, we could do some plan sheet size, yeah.
With these magnifying glasses, I can't see it.
All right, so is that where we're at, council? No votes tonight, and we have a planning commission and town council work session on the 21st.
Sounds good. I'll send out an email.
So it's a work session, right?
It's a work session, it's not a
No
meeting.
vote can be taken that night? Okay.
No, not a special meeting.
All right,
If there's any action to be taken, it'll have to wait till the February meeting.
okay.
Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, any other thoughts on that, guys? All right. Moving to reports, 74 Main.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see here. The contractor has been working with Dominion Energy on the electrical upgrade, the service upgrade to the building. That was kind of put on the back burner last year. I don't think we had all our ducks in a row for that. The HVAC has been, it was ordered and it's ready to be installed. So, it's my understanding we're waiting on some of the upgrades, with Dominion to get that done. We have submitted, for reimbursement to USDA, a drawdown on the grant funds. So that's where we're at on 74 Main. Let's see, any questions on that?
All right, well replacement.
You want to take that?
Yes, so I've reached out to Arm Resource Group concerning issuing an RFP and working with them. The contractor, again, I think stated a little bit this last time, but the contractor wants to do a design build. And so we just want to make sure that we're going about this in the most judicious manner in terms of ensuring that we're being as fiscally responsible with the town as possible. So we're probably going to just issue an RFP for engineering and design services, and then have the construction piece be a request for bids. I think that might be a better approach, because they can help us, sort of like with the VDOT project, like, you know, when they stepped in and we worked with them, it did start to move along faster. I think it's better to do that. And it's better for our staff, because really it's just the two of us, and I want to make sure we do this the right way. So I'm going to work on issuing a request for proposals for additional design services and management services. And then that company that you all will choose, we will work with them to issue a request for bids for construction for the well.
How is this different from what we did before?
That was paid for by USDA, and that was a preliminary plan set that they went through to determine. There was other factors beyond, it wasn't really construction. It delved into some elements of that, but a lot of it dealt with like our rates and cross aquifer contamination, things of that nature. And then this will actually be for the plans for, you know, drill at this depth, do this, you know, into the minutia of it.
So just to bring everyone on the same page, our new council members may be fully aware, but just in case. So DEQ says that we have a perfectly good operating well that's never failed. There's no leaking, there's no contamination, there's no anything, but they don't like the way it's made, basically. And so they're mandating the town to put in a new well, not too far from it, with a smaller well to monitor it. Is that still their plan? Mm-hmm. If the new well starts to leak, we'll have a canary in the coal mine kind of thing to tell us. So we're probably looking at between $1 million to $1.5 million for this kind of setup that we don't need, but are being forced to pay. Yep. When we get past the bid part, we'll get more detailed and deep into the financing. Mm-hmm. What we've been talking to with Jerry at the Planning Commission is probably offering a bond versus trying to do bank financing. Going that route with a municipal muni, if you will, we probably will get a longer term, lower rate kind of thing. And the timing's pretty good because we're retiring a pretty good sized note next year.
It's this upcoming, yeah, well, next fiscal year, isn't it? I think 2026.
About the current bond payment we have, yeah, it goes down, drops significantly this year.
It is okay. It's this upcoming fiscal year.
It's like $180,000 back to the town.
100.
So
100, yeah.
With any luck, that'll cover what we need to do.
Yeah.
Any questions for our town manager? All right, DHCD housing project. What's new, Missy?
Let's see, the draft bid packages have been completed by the TN Construction Group. It's my understanding the contractor pre-bid meetings are scheduled for January 28th. So things are moving along. Molly's been giving me a little information since she's gotten that firsthand, so I appreciate that.
It's good to know people, isn't it?
It is. I have a lot of sources out there, which I appreciate. And we also, our first management team meeting that will kind of oversee the project that will occur on January 21st. at 11 a.m. So we'll have some more, probably some better information for everyone next month at next month's meeting. So,
Okay.
yeah, looking forward to getting that moving.
All right. We took care of our new business item with the grant already, so we're ready for a closed session meeting to involve real property.
Mr. Mayor, we'll be going to closed session under statute 2.2-3711A3, dealing with real property.
Council, we have a motion to go into closed session. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you all for coming in.